about people, and politicians, as much as they love to kiss babies and pretend that they're speaking for the people, really are not ultimately, in my view, speaking for the people at all. They're speaking for their own agendas. And this film is very much a story of the personal within the political. It's not a political story at all. It's very much a personal story.
It is the story also, though, that in the battle over political issues, there are victims who are with very personal stories.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what you do.
Absolutely.
Victims and heroines. I mean, I don't think it's a victim film in that the two women ultimately are, you know...
They discover each other's...
Their strength, and you get the real strength of women, and particularly mothers, in this film, and that's what I was most interested in, because the burning image for me at the time of the hunger strike was the continuing sort of rota of women emerging from that prison to say that their sons had died or that they'd taken their sons off. And the immense dignity and strength that they had transcended everything else almost. And that's what I was most interested in. And I was blessed with two of the best actors in the world, you know, Helen and Fionnuala Flanagan, who pulled this off. Take a look at this. I think we'll see in this clip Fionnuala Flanagan as well. In fact, we will. This is where you have just gotten... your son has been able to pass you a message that Bobby Sands wants to send to the IRA about the beginning of the hunger strike. And she knows that anyway, here it is. And you'll see this conflict in this drama between these two women who've just visited their sons and realize that they have a message to take to the IRA about the beginning of the hunger strike. Roll tape.
So what's in this message?
I don't know.
It will not be used as some stooge for violence.
All I know is that Bobby Sands needed to get a message out.
Well, I'm going to read this bloody message.
Give me that. Give me that. That's IRA business. Give it to me, Mrs. Quigley.
No. My friend, the Brits have finally forced us to live in our own dirt. The lad's morale is collapsing. If you cannot find a solution, then we must push this crisis to its conclusion by going on hunger strike. I'm not threatening you, but stating the cold reality. Your friend and comrade, Bobby Sands.
Tell me about working with her. I mean, she was, we know how good you are, but she was...
Yes, she was wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, Fionnuala lives in America, in Los Angeles, but she's very active within the Irish Republican movement in America and a great supporter of republicanism. I'm British, so it was not that we come from opposite sides, far from it, because I'm also a supporter of republicanism in a sense.
When you say you're a supporter of republicanism, what does that mean?
Well,
you want to see Northern Ireland become part of the Republic of Ireland?
Get away from me.
What is this time? I'm coming up your nose, Helen.
You're getting up my nose now, Charlie.
Just exactly what is it you're saying, Miss Mirren? You know, I mean, what are your politics? If you want to make a movie, you owe it to us to tell us what your politics are. You can't escape this by being some artist.
I believe in Ireland as an independent country. It is luckily now an independent country. I don't think...
well,
anyway,
we all believe in Ireland being an independent country. It is an independent country.
Yeah.
The question is whether you believe that Northern Ireland should be part of the Republic of Ireland and whether the British ought to have some remaining connection with Northern Ireland, isn't it?
It's really... I don't know.
Okay.
I think I know what will happen.
That's what I want to know. What do you think will happen?
I think that eventually Ireland will be united. That's what I think.
It'll be part of Europe, like all the rest of Europe, and you know we'll all be European.
But let me come back to you, because I know you're more than. I mean, you've had some real involvement in this.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. Did you go to prison? For how long?
3 years.
3 years.
Long case.
What did you do?
I was arrested for a firearms offence. I was in a car and someone was carrying guns, and everyone in the car was sentenced, found guilty. And
did you know nothing about it?
Well, I knew the guy who was in the car was, you know, an activist, and either did or didn't. So it wasn't that I didn't know anything about it, but
And what did that experience do to you?
Well, it gave me a career, strangely enough.
So you began to write about the IRA and
well,
to write
yeah,
about the conflict.
but you know, it was writing about more than that. It was writing about the experience of a divided society. So, but yeah, it was a bizarre place because the place that I was in was a prisoner of war camp. It had, you know, gun towers and soldiers with dogs and spotlights and little Nissan huts and barbed wire and people who marched around and behaved like prisoners of war.
And you were treated as a prisoner of war?
Yeah, political status it was called, and it was the removal of that recognition that led to the hunger strike.
Yeah,
but it was, I mean, within Northern Ireland, it was all these strategies that were designed to solve the problem rather than getting to the peace table.
I interrupted Helen. Helen thinks that, in fact, that there will be, you know, a uniting of Northern Ireland into Ireland, fair to say.
Yes.
What you just said. And you believe that too, or you would sort of say, well, we'll all be in Europe, so
but I mean,
with a common currency.
That sounds, I mean, that sounds like a wishy-washy way of getting out of it. But in fact, if you've been to the south of Ireland lately, they've benefited so much from the European Union that evolution now is a part...
In terms of economics?
And socially and culturally as well. They have a European perspective that has changed the place quite dramatically in the last 20 years. And so that evolution could take place if we weren't bogged down in the particular political division that exists or not.
You like this directing thing?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's a control freak thing.
It's
easy.
Look what you had to work with. I mean,
it is.
This
that's
was not hard.
Yeah, it's just keeping the stamina.
You made it for about $8 million, did I read, or much more? About 8?
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. Are you making more Prime Suspects?
No, I've done my last one, but the last one's going to air here, I think, in February.
Why did we have to stop this?
Because things have to come to an end, and it's better for them to come to an end while they're still hot and good and creative than when they're not anymore. And it was time for me to move on.
Like John Cleese said, I stopped making Faulty Towers because I realized I couldn't keep making as good as we've been making.
Yeah, that's right. That's pretty well it.
Sort of done
I mean, yeah. I think we could. I think we could do a couple more, but I personally want to move on. That's all.
You just won an award last year, Golden Globe, for that television.
That was for Losing Chase.
Right. Great to see you.
You too.
Terry, pleasure to meet you. Terry George directed Some Mother's Son, starring Helen Mirren. We thank you for joining us. We'll see you Monday night.